Every year, my group in North Carolina, Queen City Vintage Dance, throws a Queen's Ball in the spring because Charlotte is the Queen City. So they have decided that this year I am going to be Queen Titania from Midsummer Night's Dream, and I need a fairy dress. And not just a fairy dress, I need to be a fairy queen. So I have some work to do. I have decided that this is going to be the dress I start with. So just going from a thrift store prom dress, I need to become a fairy queen with this. I have some work to do. I took advantage of the fact that it's the end of the season, and I found LED lights that have, like, the LEDs are buried in the leaves. And I found silver LEDs to go with the silver in that dress. And I found silver leaves. Oops. These are, and a friend of mine gave me a whole lot of fake flowers to embellish the dress with. Now, in case that wasn't enough, I kept shopping. And I found feathery silver sprays. I am going to be a glitter bomb. So I have all these feathery silver bits that, if they don't go on the dress and if they don't end up on the wings, they'll probably end up in my hair. But they have to happen. Oh yes, and my table is already covered in glitter. I also managed to find, I think these need to be part of the wings somehow. But they're just, yeah, and I'm like putting glitter all over my cutting table. It's a magnificent cutting table if I do say so myself. And then for the back, since I'm gonna have, the wings are gonna have to be lit up with the LEDs, I got several of these flowers to cover. If the LED pack is in the middle of my back, I now have flowers to cover said LEDs. And if that wasn't enough, I also found these guys to all be, are they leaves? Yes, LED crafting lights. So it's silver glitter and LEDs. So I'm going to be lit up like a Christmas tree. First order of business though, this dress needs sleeves. I have found among my costume stash this old pattern that looks like fairy sleeves to me. And it just so happens I've had, stored with the dress, I've had this dress for a while, I happened to have found some fabric that it's got the glitter into the fabric. I'm hoping I have enough, and this should be perfect to make the sleeves to go with the dress. Well, now that I've got the sleeves cut out, I'm going to have to mark them up because all of those all the gathers on there, those are casings, and all the lines are marked on the pattern. So I'm going to have to mark those so that I can transfer them on. I'm thinking I'm going to need to pick another color to commit to besides the teal and the silver. I'm thinking maybe orchid. So here's what I get to work on next. And it's going to be very interesting. This chiffon has a very fragile edge to it. I'm going to have to finish all these long seams because anything left hanging, left not finished, is not going to go well. So I'm going to be doing a lot of straight lines here for a little bit. This fabric is proving to be surprisingly easy to work with, even though it's actually the stiffness is working in its favor. It's very crisp as I'm folding it. If anybody's noticed, I'm using bits of paper when I'm making the seams, when I'm going around the corners while I'm doing the hemming. It's a trick I learned from doll makers, that if you when you're working with a relatively delicate fabric, if you shove a little bit of paper under the presser foot, and then, whoop, there we go, under the presser foot, and then you put your fabric in, then you'll get a nice sharp corner. That was a really great shot, wasn't it? then you'll get a nice sharp corner, and you won't end up shoving delicate fabrics just into the machine instead of like sewing along.
You know, it just never fails. Every time I'm in this Joann Fabrics, and I decided I want orchid ribbon, and the thing I want, there's only one. And that one ribbon is not gonna be enough for what I need. Ribbon! Yay, ribbons! And I am down to the same problem. That color, the lavender doesn't look as good against the fabric, actually. And the orchid that I want, there's only one in the wrong width. I guess I'm getting online. I think this project stalled for a little while. Well, we'll continue when we can.